Hey guys, here we are. We're doing another bit of Crypto Tarot art. Now these last two ones we've done here, this is the Four of Cups, and then we also have the Five of Cups. We didn't do a live recording of them, so there won't be that possibility to buy that NFT or to have anything like that. But I was changing my style. As you can see here, these are done in more of an impressionistic style. There's a lot of lines sort of capturing this action, this motion, as opposed to the art before that you guys saw, which was sort of more of a, I don't know, more of an exact copy. Although there's still a lot of energy and lines in those. I was going for more of an exact copy of how the cards were going to look. So this is more of an impressionistic style, even though we're still going to be following. You can see right up above me here. We're still going to be making that Six of Cups. We're still going to be following a lot of those things. We're just not going to draw it quite as realistically. So it's going to be a lot of fun, a little bit of change in style. It was something that I did and I was kind of messing with, and so I didn't record the first couple ones I did, but I did want to get back to recording them. And so here we are. Here's a fresh piece of paper. I've already got the camera set up, and the focus actually looks pretty decent just naturally, so I'm not going to mess with the focus. Hopefully the lines come in pretty well here. Sometimes that does get bumped. So here we have some tools. I do have this pencil that has a little bit of an eraser here. I did, in a lot of the other ones, actually all of the other ones were done with marker, more so than pencil. I was using these markers here, which I still do like to get some really dark lines, but that's not, we're changing up our style a little bit here, so that's not exactly what we're doing. So here we have the Six of Cups, which is a very interesting card, right? It's got six cups, kind of four here on the bottom area. It's got some houses. It's got that blue sky up there. But really, we want to capture these figures, these childlike figures here. So there's a couple things we want to do. Each of the cups has a star. With this new style, we're kind of doing more like this kind of scribbly style. So I'm just kind of go back and forth, and I'm going to kind of, you see in the other ones we started with kind of, we would get the outline, right, and then we would get the the coloring in here. But this is, we're still going to be doing that. But you can see I'm just kind of squiggling my pencil around, try to capture this outline. We're trying to capture this face here. You just got that eye like that. Now that's very light, right? But that's got sort of just like these outlines that we're going to be capturing. We do, now here this is interesting, sort of a little bit of a synchronicity here. I got this guy out kind of by accident earlier. So instead of copying this exact red color, I'm actually going to make this more of a pink color in here. And I'm going to try to capture the feel of this hood with these kind of scribbly lines. I already have the black lines to kind of hold it in, right? The feel of this hood, and this has got kind of like a ruffle. So we'll ruffle this, and then it gets to her shoulders here. And that's a nice blue, so we'll get a blue out. For some reason, I'm feeling a little more purpley than blue, and I know I'm going to use the blue for the sky, so it's nice to have a blue color here. So we're just going to capture this kind of edge of her, or his. You can really tell, is that a boy or who knows? So boy or girl, doesn't really matter, right? We want to get this arm coming out. And once again, this isn't as exact of a style, so we're not worrying about the lines quite as much. But we do want to capture this hand around the cup, and so we're going to go ahead and capture that. Here we go. It's got just four little fingers because the thumb is all the way around on the other side. So let's get those four fingers. All right, we'll come around there. Now let's get our cup. We want to have the kind of little balls of the cup are on top, right? It's going to come out real fat here like this. Now it's got a swoop, but these cups are interesting. These cups are they all have these plants in them, right? So let's get our green. We're actually going to get kind of this darker olive light green, and this little bit of that leaf is going to go over that cup, and so we do want to get that line there. Not all the leaves are going to go over the cup, just some of them, like that, like this. There we go, and it's going to have this nice white flower, which actually her nose is right up against the flower in the original picture. We're actually not quite getting the same as the original picture with the star, but whatever. There's our plant here with this kind of star-like flower. Kind of comes out. It's got a little center circle there. Then the cup, of course, is going to be yellow. Now, what I did in some of these to really pop the yellow, some of these earlier pictures that I did, is I used this yellow marker here for the yellow. And so that kind of gave it a darker, brighter yellow, brighter than just the colored pencil would be. And it does have some texture lines here. We are going to copy these in. There we go. And these are, I'm kind of putting them where I didn't quite hit the marker. And the first thing I noticed, I feel like that green's got to be greener, and we need more of it for those leaves. Those leaves don't really pop as much as we want. It's very light. It's a very light picture so far. So we're going to darken these leaves up a little bit. Darken these leaves up here. There we go. All right, so here we have our cup. And the same with her or his face here. We want to get, I think there actually is a sort of peachy, pinky color here for human skin, right? So we're going to get some of that in there, right? We're actually going to go ahead and we're going to darken up this a little bit with some darker lines. With this style, you do kind of come back a lot. You hit something and you kind of come back. It's kind of interesting. There's a little weird looking thing there, this hood or whatever. Now this, I only have some of this done. Let's get back to this, and you notice once again I use this color for that. We got this kind of skirt kind of comes out. It's got some motion to it, right? It's got like these little parts. It flares up kind of there, and then it comes around like this, pops over like that, right? And then this, it's got a line here, and I think if you remember from some of my other, a lot of times I like to get my texture lines, rather than using these hard black lines, I like to just kind of use a darker thing from the pencils here, just press them down a little more. But this does need to be shaded all the way through, and a lot of times with the marker I would do this kind of these kind of line shadings because I didn't want to be too dark, and of course we're losing these lines that I like, so we're going to darken them with some of this. There we go. Capture some of that motion. Capture some of those edges, right, with the black marker there, or the black, not marker, black guy, what you call it. I do want to finish the cup. I almost forgot to finish the cup here, so that's going to kind of interfere with where I was going there, but it does have the three. Where are the three? Here's the three. There we go. There's those guys. Let's get those yellowed in. Forgot to yellow those in. Let's use our nice bright marker here. 1, 2, 3. There we go. And then we're going to have it kind of come out like this. And it has this kind of base here, and it will just barely fit in right there. And then let's go ahead and darken it. You can see, again, they have a lot of these black lines, these black texture lines on theirs. I'm not going to put all those texture lines in. Anyway, back to this. I did forget, you don't want to forget those overlaps because it's hard to go back. Now this red, again, I'm not going to use that red. I'm going to use this kind of pink. And that was just a happy accident that I had that pink. And so here, there's kind of like a knead. It comes like this. And then bent kind of. And then we got a boot. Starts the boot about right here. But we're running into our other cups here, right? There's going to be some other cups. Let's draw those other cups first so they don't overlap. And we're also going to have to get this other figure here. We kind of put her in the center. So we're going to shift everything over a little bit. So let's draw some of this foreground so we don't mess up our overlap. Again, we'll get our black pencil out. The cups, it's interesting. They get cut off by the bottom of this. So you don't actually see that little pointy thing on the bottom of each of these cups. You just kind of have this part. And they're so big they're in the foreground. And you got, you know, a few of these guys coming around like that. And then, whoop, there's a cup. And then it's going to have, we're going to have to leave room for those plants to come over. And the same thing with this guy. It's going to come up like that, maybe like that. And once again, this isn't more of an impressionistic style, so it's not about the exact thing. Right, we're not trying to get that in there. Well, I guess there's only one leaf over there that goes over because I kind of didn't leave room for it, but that's okay. Let's keep going with this style here. It's okay to have sort of scribbles and overwrites, and we can, once again, we can do an erase here if we need to. So you notice this is a more flowing style for sure, and it has some advantages over the other style. It's kind of neat. All right, so now let's do the same thing. We got a dark green here, but we also have this olive green. We'll actually use both of those for these plants here, and they kind of have these leaves that go over like that, right? And then it's going to have a star. This star is partly buried by the leaves, so this star just kind of, you can only see some of his thing there. Whereas this guy, you kind of see the whole star like this, like that, right? You see the whole guy there, and then he's got some leaves. Let's use our olive first, capture some of it, and then some of it kind of vines around right there where I left a spot to go over. You can't really see the back of most of these cups here. This one does have, we do need to kind of get where there's no leaves going over. We need that line there. And this guy's going to need one of those guys. Now here, same kind of thing. We want to capture some of these leaves going over. Like, oh, look, we actually used the different green there. That's the lighter colored green. So actually, I want this to be more the olive green in this section. And since we got this in our hand, we'll go ahead, we'll color in here, give it some of this coloring like that. Yeah, there we go. And same with this one. Let's give it some of this coloring to mix with that olive. All right, some of that. Now, again, here we're just, see, we purposely left that one to get a little more cup-like, but also to have this. Right, and then let's get our star kind of flower. This one kind of is a little more of an angle, so we're going to go like that, right? Right, and do a little circle there. And this one's going to fit in right here. Right, there we go. So each one has that. Each one has that. There's definitely some olive green we're going to want in here. And there's definitely going to be some green coming off the edge there, a little green coming off the edge there. So there we have it. That gives us a nice colors in there. Let's get a little more of a bright green mixing with the olive green, kind of mounding all the way up there, kind of coming down there, and down there, and more leafy there. That's more of a leafy area. And then we're going to get, once again, this really bright, I'll go ahead and get the lines. Kind of, I don't know, I think those probably should have been not vertical lines, but horizontal lines. So more like this, I think looks better. Let's put those in there. All right. There we go. And here you can see just a little bit of the gold. I want a little bit of the gold in the top of the cup too. There we go. There we go. This one looks like it's missing one of its little circles. There we go. Everybody gets at least 3 circles. This guy has 4. There's one coming around the edge. Same with that guy. Let's see with this guy. Let's put a little one on the edge here. That one's just going to be 3. It's just tilted just the right way to get 3. It's kind of interesting. I ended up, that's the only one I did horizontal lines on, so that's kind of interesting. All right, and that gets this really bright glowing cups. So those are all foreground, so we know nothing will interfere with them. We're going to have to capture these steps here. There's like this sort of column behind her like this. It comes down just to about right here. It's actually just a little above that plant there, and it's kind of into the ground. But it comes up behind her dress, right? It comes out and has kind of this platform on it. And on this platform we have another cup. And this one does have its base. This does show its base all the way like that. It's going to come up. It's going to come up. We're going to get some of these guys right here like that. And then just a really big cup on it like that. And look at that. See how it's like one line going that way? That's kind of the neat thing of this impressionistic style. It can actually have lines that are kind of, they're like that. They're just sort of weirdly shaped, and they really catch the eye and make it interesting. So actually here, we want this to go back some more. This is like kind of like a railing. And then here, let's get our olive green and our regular green, and let's do some plants. Because there's a plant with like a leaf here, that kind of just piles up between her dress and that thing like this. Kind of like this plant with some broad leaves. And again, we're going to use this mix of both greens. So it's like there's different parts to it. And we can even get this black in here and kind of shape a couple of these leaves. So people get an idea that there's some structure in there too, some leaves. Anyway, so here's our guy here. He's got, oh wait, you want this one here. Has kind of these dark, like that, coming down, right? And there's a line here, there's a line here, there's a line here, and then it does kind of interact with her dress a little bit there. There's like a shield going on here, and then it has these like X in it, right? And then here, kind of has these cross lines here. There we go. It's an interesting X, isn't it? Not exactly even, but that's the whole point. Is that vibe. There's even a couple dots in the concrete here. We get those dots in there. So that's our pedestal. We're going to need some steps. Looks like the steps kind of come over. We've got this, oh wait, that's not right. There's like a little thing like this first, with these lines in it. But then the step comes like that. It's got these sort of pedestal things. What are they called? Not stepping stones. They are steps, but they're these, this grid, right? So this grid is like a laid walkway or whatever. And in this, just a little bit up, they actually has a figure. So a little tiny figure over here. It's got a little leg. It's got one of these guys. It's He's got kind of some kind of like skirty looking thing on, and then there's this tunic, an arm. He actually has some kind of spear here. I'm just going to put that spear up there. Okay, so let's get his hair right here, and there we go. There's his other arm, kind of like that. Now he kind of has a bluish. Let's give him this aqua blue here, a little different color than the girl, like that. And then here's kind of a gray, which I think we have a gray. Let's get our gray here. We got pencils just all over the place here. I know we have a gray. There's a gray. Give him a kind of a gray tunic, which, interesting enough, when you do it lightly, it kind of just blends with the black, but that's okay. I actually think he's kind of got a green here for his legs. He's got two legs, but you can really only see one in the way this is. So we're actually going to add a leg kind of behind the other leg. We're just going to kind of imagine that other leg kind of sticking out here, a foot, and give him some more green on that one. All right, so there's our guy. There's our sort of impressionistic guy back there. And he comes to the end of these. There's like a thing he's standing on. Here's some more of these guys. And then a few more like this. But then it comes to the end of that walkway like that. Right? And then there's this big old castle behind it. But let's go ahead and fill this in first. Here's our cup. It's the only one that doesn't have any leaves coming anywhere over the side. It goes all the way up to the top. Give it these guys. Alright, so that's great. That's nice and bright. We're doing the same thing with our leaves. These leaves are kind of curling up like that. Kind of curling like that and like that and a little bit like that. And that leaves just enough room for us to put a nice star flower here. We're actually changing the angle of the star flower a little bit. That's okay. There we go. And then we'll give it some of this fresh green. Fresh green in here. So very different style, very mellow style. Not mellow is the wrong word, but vibrant style with a lot of like play in it as opposed to some of our earlier artwork. So here, let's capture the top of this building. It's got a little little spot there that goes up and then comes down like this, goes down like that. This, there we go, like that's what I'm looking for. And that cross, and then there's another one here. And then there's like that's like a shelf. This is actually a corner. This is another corner here. And then it kind of comes straight down on the other side of the flower. It does have there's another one right here. Coming this way, they overlap a little bit, right? Comes down like that, right? Like that. There we go. And it has some more eaves here that go across. There's a little bit of a thing here that makes like a little wall that comes down. Don't come down too far because it's got to be. There's actually, here we are, this is our first erasure. We're going to do erasure a little bit here. You can see these pencils, you have that advantage of a little bit of erasure. Where's my, where's my guy? Where's my pencil with the eraser, man? Gotta have the pencil with the eraser. There it is. There's yellows kind of blending in. So anyway, we can see here, we put it down a little too low. It's not going to erase perfectly, but that's going to get the majority of it off. I kind of want to work on this figure a little more. So we're going to catch her pants here, like this, give them a real kind of, there, yeah, a lot of action in there. And then we're going to capture that knee, like that. Then we're going to get that boot. The boot's going to come up and around, kind of, like that. And it has one of these guys, like that. Yep, there we go. And then we won't try not to overlay that flower. And then the boot comes down. You're not going to be able to see the rest of that boot. That's just the way it goes. And she has another side to her, really, another leg sort of behind here. This is the other leg here. And it's also bent. And it has another boot here, which I don't think you can see in the thing, but we're putting another boot there. Okay, great. Now we want to get this ground. And the ground is not exactly orange, it's not exactly peach, it's kind of like a dingy yellow. Which I don't know how we're going to do that yet. The peach is a little too bright, and we already used it for face. The orange is definitely too bright. Here's a darker orange. It's even brighter. So I think maybe a brown and orange mix here for the ground is going to be necessary. So what I'm going to do here, you can see it's got a lot of these texture lines like this. But we're just going to try to catch some of these lines like this. And then all the way across. There we go. That's a ground, basically. We can even take this brown, and we can like put a little, that's the brown, yeah. Put a little heel over. That's not the brown I was using for a boot. Where's the brown I was using for a boot? There we go, dark brown. There we go. And that's a little bit of a boot right there. So you can catch maybe the second boot there. All right, now you've got a couple of boots on the ground. Anyway, back to the lighter brown. You can see the difference between the browns here. And that's going to, like, we want this green. Where's the green? The green is going to come, there's some green coming all the way down here, right? That's the same green that was up there. It kind of comes down here and also comes around here like that. Kind of swooshes. All right, and then we'll give it some of this green, all right, to brighten it up and give it a different color leaves, just like that. Yeah, there we go. Now we get back to catching this ground. Oops, that's the other brown. Whoops, don't get your browns mixed up, boys. Right? Now she's standing kind of in and amongst, so she's got this red boot here. We'll just put it right here on the ground. And then she has a blue dress. We're going to use the same blue here as we used for the other girl's dress. And we're going to catch this dress like this, and like this. It's going to come up. It's going to come up. And notice it actually looks like a different color than hers, partly because we pushed down a little harder. We're going to give her a little more lines going this way. And let's flush color her hand like that. Yep. Alright, now, who's receiving this flower? This cute little girl here with this yellow petticoat. Let's get it, not petticoat, what do we call this thing that goes over? Let's catch this. And she's going to come up, it's going to come up, and then she has one arm here. Actually, that's going to be in like a red. Where's the red? Yeah, well, there's red for a boot, but we're going to use that same red here. Capture this arm. That's the top of the arm, right? And then this is the rest of that part of the petticoat. Or not petticoat, who knows what the word is. But either way, we're going to get back to this darker orange, or not orange, this yellow. And that, here, let's get the black. Let's get the black. So I want to capture some of these lines here. There we go. And that's going to get her kind of like, it's like a mitten. Her hand is like in a mitten here for some reason, which I don't understand, but whatever. We're just taking what they got here. Now we can get kind of the edges of her beam there. And this is like a red hood. It's going to come up and around. This is why I said we wanted to erase a little bit of that, because we wanted room for her. And she's going to have this nice blonde hair here to fill this in. And then we want to capture her face. Again, we want to get the edge. We catch the spirit, and the spirit is her eyes are kind of looking up. See, I'm trying to catch that eye. And that's it. I'm not trying to get that exact realism there. There we go. And then this is for all part of her petticoat underneath. Like, oops, I want red. Not petticoat. Her, I don't know what that, her shawl, her hood. There's a little hood here going around, right? Now let's give her the flesh color here. Give her some flesh color here. Not trying to catch it perfectly. We got good there. In fact, I kind of want to get more of this girl's head. I want to get this a little darker here. A little more of her eye there. There we go. Now, and a little more of her mouth here. What is she doing? It's just a little bit of her lips. You barely see. There we go. Okay, now we want to get this building that comes down here. There's two parts. These are like shingles that come down here, and then there's like shingles here. So we're going to come across like they do. This is like a elbow or a bend in the roof. This comes across the top and down a little bit, so across the top and down. Across like that. Then there's like a chimney here. So we'll get that chimney, get the edge of that chimney, give it some like brick looks here. And then here, this is more like shingles, so kind of like not even shingles, I guess medieval shingles. They weren't exactly as well put. So that's the top. That gives us a roof. We're going to want a window in here. It's kind of like an arched window with a double buttressed kind of thing there. All right, there we go. And this even has like a pretty little thing there like that. Yeah. Window. There's a couple windows here. Let's see. Where do we want these windows? There's a window right here by the flower. Let's try to make that window like that. And then it has like that. It's like this. And there we go. Right on the edge of the flower, there's that window. And over here, there's another window. Same thing. Same kind of look. One. And then two. All right. Now we're ready to draw this. There's kind of a line coming down here. All right. There's a line coming down here. This guy is going to need, he's already got the top there. He needs like one of these little arch windows. And one little other window over here. There's a line coming down. Here's the corner of the guy. He comes down like this, and there's one little square window here. You can see one little window there. There's also one other window here, but I don't think I'm going to get that window. I think that window is going to be off of our radar. It's interesting that these windows almost look like this guy's head, so what we're going to do is we're going to frame them. So they got a little frame around each window is going to get a little frame here, and that'll make them a little more, stand out a little more from the guy's head. Now, we're still working on his ground. It's going to have to come up to where it joins this guy. We also want to finish her sort of petticoat here. Where's the darker one? Not this. Is it this one? No. There it is. The difference is these two yellows. This is the yellow we've been using for her hair, and this is the yellow we're using for this little like petticoat. Or not, I keep saying petticoat, but it's got 3 parts to it. It's actually dotted, but forget it. We're not doing the dots. The dots are right out, man. The dots have been knocked out. What we are going to do is get the ground here, and that's going to go up all the way to the edge of this house. The house comes down to about right here, so that's going to be the edge of the bottom of the house, about right. It's actually right where the thing joins. We're going to do that. Edge of the house, edge of the house, edge of the house. This is coming straight down, edge of the house. Now, it actually has a little bit of growth here. That growth's a little darker than the other growth, so we're just going to use the olive for it. We're going to give some plants here, and there's some plants here. All right, there we go. Now we've got a good look to it. Now let's get some coloring in. We're going to be using our lighter brown and our orange, or lighter orange. We're actually still kind of trying to mix them, right? So once again, we're getting a few more of this. We're trying to catch this earth feel. I'm also trying to act like these lines go all the way across. And we're going to keep that look all the way like that. And then we're actually going to mix these in, some orange lines on top of the dirt. Try to catch some of this feel of not just ground, but this brightly, almost yellow, dark yellow colored ground that they have in this picture. And I'm actually putting orange mostly on top of where the brown lines are to kind of blend them, right, like that. And then I'm actually maybe just going to do real light, kind of like this, sort of cross-hatching, kind of. Okay, it's all part of the brown. Those were just some texture lines in there. And that's really going to fill it in. Yeah, there we go, there we go. Like that. I see I missed a spot here. I'm not going to go back and get that marker out. I'm just going to do this in that other kind of yellow there. And again, we're just trying to catch, I do kind of want an angle on that rather than straight up and down. It's just like a cross-hatch to it. Alright, looks good. That looks real good. And there we go. Now, we're going to want to do the sky, and we got to do the color of these buildings. Now, the buildings are, again, they're a different color. They're kind of a brownish orange. They're really similar to the ground, but I'm going to want them a little different than the ground. So I'm going to choose this color on purpose, which is like almost a tan. It's a very nondescript color. So what we're going to do is we're going to come here, and we're just going to go like this. We're going to get all of that. Like that. That, and this should differentiate these windows from that guy's head, because we're going to color the outsides of the windows like this. Alright, and then we're going to come back with this. Kind of get all that in there. He's got some kind of spear there or something. I don't know what's in that guy's hand, but anyway. Oh, that line needs to come the rest of the way down. Where's our black? Where's our black? The line needs to come all the way down. There we go. Back to our kind of brown here. Maybe we should have just used that for the ground, but oh well. Not too late now. And again, we're going to want to get all of this. These buildings are basically the same color here. In this part. And that's differentiated from the ground because it doesn't have the brown or the orange streaks that show the ground. And here, actually, these are a little darker because I'm actually using the point of the guy here to do that. And now we'll do this, and this, and there we go. All right. Now let's do, let's use this gray and kind of fill this in. This has also got some of these shingles kind of across. Let's get some texture there. There we go. And this guy needs to be filled in, and then this needs to be filled in. This needs to have, let's do this more of an angled. There we go. Fill that in. Alright. That looks cool. That looks real cool. Let's get this kind of gray in like that. Now this is also gray, this stone, so we want to catch that. Let's get this gray like that. A little bit of gray, a little bit of gray, a little bit of gray. Alright. Alright, and then I think the last thing is going to be the sky here. It's a nice blue, and we saved this blue. We didn't use it for any of their colors. So we're just going to go ahead and go like this. We'll try to capture that blue. Nice blue sky, just like that. There we go, guys. Alright, and there's our sky. I usually do a diagonal sky more, but this one's more of a vertical, but it's okay. That looks great. We got our six of cups. Looks great, guys. That's it right there. We'll show it right there. Get a little closer, a little farther. Beautiful, beautiful artwork for CryptoTarot.club. Check it out, guys. You can get a free reading, and then you can buy an NFT of your reading. Until later, guys. Have a good one.